Hi, everybody, and welcome to Why Are You an Entrepreneur? The Trials and the Triumphs. This is where I bring you rock star entrepreneurs from many different industries at all stages of growing their business. And we have a conversation that's real and authentic to bring you tips, resources, best practices, and inspiration. I'm Maureen Edwards with 8 Simple Steps, and I focus in on taking the hard out of building, managing, scaling a business. And this is one of my ways of doing it for all the small business owners out there. And so I say it every week. This is no exception. I have another amazing entrepreneur. I want to introduce you to Melissa Stecher of Hopeful Simplicity. She is the founder and creator of it. Welcome, Melissa.
Hi, Maureen. I'm so excited.
Oh, I'm so excited to have you talk about this because I have learned a lot about your company, but I don't know the backstory of how you started it. So I'd like for you to share to the community out here. Why did you create Hopeful Simplicity and take on entrepreneurship?
Why did I create entrepreneurship in my life? Um, because it was a need. For me, I'm a mom. And so when you have like kids and stresses and blending families and things like that, one little thing sends you over the edge. And for me, it was being asked, "What's for dinner?" It was that simple question, like just and snap. And
Just like
so
that, right?
just like that, I no longer even cared. Like, y'all can starve. I did not even care. And so it was that like heavy resentfulness that I carried in from work every single day, and then was like, they're gonna ask me what's for dinner, and if we did our homework, and where are my keys, and so I knew that things had to change. And we actually started the business with the products. So I started removing all like harsh chemical products. So I didn't have those momentary panics of, oh my gosh, did he just touch the bleach? What if he touches his face after that? And
Right.
so the products was how we started. And then I think it had to been a full year after we were already selling our product lines and being out in the community and doing all the natural options that it was so much more than that. It
Hmm.
was a full lifestyle. It wasn't just like, what are you using? It's who's using it. It
Right.
wasn't just how often are we doing something, it's how often are we all doing something at home. And so more and more people kept asking, hey, how do you make that cleaner? Hey, how did you get your family to help meal plan? Hey, how do you do this? And so I rebranded and created Hopeful Simplicity to include the organizing side, which is our main focus for a lifestyle option. It came out of necessity and then it was asked how.
I love this because most businesses come from an aha moment of trying to fix a problem in their a person's own life. I mean, that's really what it is, and it's up to you to say, okay, I'm going to do something about it, and you did. You're like, I'm going to do the calculated risk and become the entrepreneur and go with it. And that's actually rare, Melissa, because a lot of people would have been like, too much work and keep my day job. Um,
Oh,
so
no.
I like how it evolved, and I'd like to dive in a little bit deeper because you kind of switched gears and did a pivot. And so, how did the whole organization part of the business arise for you to focus more on that?
It it really came out of, I have a son. And in my future mom brain, I would have a teenager son. And that was it. Like, that was just the ooh factor of touching a teenage boy's laundry was enough to be like, okay,
Yeah.
how can I help you do your laundry moving forward and just take that whole thing off of my list. And so when
Hmm.
he was 8, we started changing all of the things. We changed how he stores his clothes, his routine for doing laundry, like him actually do. I have not touched his laundry from dirty to put away since he was 8 and he's 13 now.
That's great. You're really giving him a sense of responsibility and taking care of himself. I think my son Hugh finally, was able to make a grilled cheese sandwich when he went off to college. And he's like, Mom, how do I do this laundry? Like, you know what? You started early and, has it made your life easier though? I mean, we talk about simplicity. Can you explain like how this changed things for you? And, you have a company that could help other people.
Yep. So the weight of managing it all is lighter. I no longer have to worry. If he's out of clean clothes, well, ooh, that's on you. But it also changed our conversations. It's no longer, can you help me? Will you just do this? And if I have to ask you one more time kind of stuff, to the, oh, shoot, tomorrow's band. I better make sure all my black clothes are clean. And I'm out of the process. So it's really opened our communication and taken all that daily just yuck out of it. So we're more of the, do you want to watch a movie and talk about it? Do you want to read the same books? Do you want to do these things and have those more connecting conversations instead of the mundane, I'm tired of doing it all?
I love how you've empowered him. And so is this what you do in your business? Do you talk with other families? Do you work with corporations? Like, tell me exactly who your ideal customer is with your company.
A lot of my clients are moms, just like me. They're like, how did you get your son to do your laundry? How do you get your partner to cook meals? What do you mean you don't have to do all the things? So I work with a lot of families. And when you bring in a third party, somebody like me, we all sit down and talk. And it takes that mom nagging factor out because, well, Melissa said so. So I'm going to do my laundry today. And so when you have that outside party going, okay, but how can mom and dad help you do this? Because you are awesome and you're going to take this over. And what can we do to help? But I also work with like small businesses and stuff like that, because when you bring somebody new into your team, so say you bring an assistant in and all of a sudden you're not ordering supplies, but you need to know where they are. Okay, what can I do to set you up to take this over and succeed with it? So it's really that third party conversation that takes the direct possible ugliness or disdain out of it. That's what I do.
It's kind of like a mediator. It's a consultant. That's really what it is. And it's so funny because companies will hire consultants and they will listen more to the consultant than they will their own employees. I never figured it out. I was like, I've been on both sides, and I used to sit there and go, we said this exact same thing and nobody listened, but the consultant comes in and says it. And it's amazing how different it goes. So you definitely, you know what you're talking about. So when you ventured into entrepreneurship and you started your company, what was the greatest challenge for you as a new entrepreneur?
It was timing and learning. So when you balance a job and then a family and then learning, okay, oh, I need this for a business too, and I need that for a business too. So it's managing the growth of it without overlapping everything else. And that was a massive struggle for me because I get excitable. I get like hyperactively tunnel focused and I'm like, oh, let's go. And so I knew with business, it'd be like, I neglected my partnerships when I was starting it up because I was so like, I want to do this and I want to do this. And all the shiny squirrels went by. And years later, and I'm like, okay, no, that's no longer a priority. That could work tomorrow when I'm going to have time for it.
So are you still keeping your day job and doing this on the side?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Because that adds a whole level of complexity for people who are in the same situation as you. And I will tell you, I've been on, talking with entrepreneurs and small business owners for years. And we always say, keep your day job and create something on the side that's more than a side hustle. I've said this before. I don't like the word side hustle because it's so much more than that. You're not just hustling around just for freelance and, bucks for a vacation. You're actually planning and building a business and a future that you could take this to the next level and go into entrepreneurship full time. And that's what most people really are doing with that side hustle. So I got to come up with a new name for that. So tell me then what the greatest challenge is, for people who are doing it like you, what can you say out there to help them balance that?
Coffee.
Oh,
All the coffee. That's what we do. But I am very strict on my schedule. I mean, extreme, like, I have these times are set for clients. These are options and opportunities. Like, after this, there's no more time. There it is. Oh, nope. It's a day where I don't have nighttime schedules because it's a evening with the kid time. So I'm extremely strict and I'm open about it. I'm like, you know what? I cannot wait to talk to you, but I'm already got my evenings full that night. Or, like that week is already full. What's your next week look like?
I love that you have your priorities in place, because I think sometimes we can lose sight trying to do everything, and we lose sight of the fact that life goes by really quick. So I really love that you've picked the most important things to move the business, and the rest of it, I can see why you're really good at the whole organizing, and you're very detail oriented. You're very methodical, and those, you picked something in your wheelhouse, and you're playing off your strengths, like, right? Isn't that what you do with a business? You identify what your strengths are, what your talents are, and you're doing it beautifully. Good going.
Thank you.
Going, girl.
We're going.
Yeah. So tell me what, the greatest success. You shared kind of a challenge. I can see how you've overcome that. But what has been the greatest success so far that you have achieved?
There's all the little ones. And it's the little ones where a client will send me a random message, be like, if you could just get out of my head tonight, that would be great. And then they show me before and after.
Oh.
Or where I follow up a year later, hey, how's it going? Just checking in on that space. Be like, oh yeah, I totally forgot. I haven't had to redo that ever since. So it's really those little things of people are hopeful and don't even know it. And those are like yes, that's why I'm doing it. That's why we do this.
Oh, that's great. So, how long has this company been in existence? How many years, months, whatever? Where are we at?
5 years this fall.
Wow. Wow, I did not know it was 5 years. See, this is why I love having conversations with people, because a lot of times, where we met was on Clubhouse. And so we don't always have the opportunity to dive deeper into, the connections that we make, because we're so, I think, focused on conversations and giving value to the community. And so I did not know that. So I guess I want to know then, we met on Clubhouse. Can you give some tips for entrepreneurs on some of the best marketing places that you have been able to reach your customers and convert your customers? Are there certain marketing platforms you like and are working?
Yeah. So Clubhouse obviously has been such an amazing tool to connect with people like me and learn from people like me. It's like, okay, well, I don't have the solution, but let's fall forward and figure it out. And then, oh, well, I did that 3 years ago. Have you tried this? And I love building that connection with other entrepreneurs. But I also, last year was a heavy focus to do podcast guesting.
For you to be a guest, right?
Yeah. So, last year I did, I think it has to have been over 10, I think closer to 15 guest spots on podcasting. So I could build those connections with new audiences, but also now I have all that stuff like, hey, last year, it's been a year, go back and listen to their podcast, support my friends too. It's because we're always growing and going. And I feel like if I can just come to you, like if I'm just going to come talk to Maureen, I get to meet a whole new audience and bring a little more hope. But at the same time, in 6 months, I'd be like, did you catch Maureen's thing? Because she's totally awesome too.
So, can you give advice for entrepreneurs on how to get on podcasts and use that as a marketing vehicle like you? Is there a certain strategy you have?
Ask. There's I cannot remember a time in my life I haven't been like, hey, I mean, no's okay. Just accept a no. I'm okay. There are times you don't even get responses, but if somebody resonates with you and you're like, you know what? We've talked a few times. I see, you do have guests, like do all the research, make sure they have guests on their thing, make sure they're, your style of connection, and make sure that their community, their audience, their customers are your ideal client,
Right.
then make a connection. The worst that's going to happen is be like, no. Okay, cool. Next.
Well, it sounds like they were more yeses than nos. And I think that I think is a marketing medium that a lot of people may not have pursued. You know, when you are new to owning a business, it's amazing. We all go for the social media, right? Let me put everything out on every platform. And some people start their own podcast, but I think it's important for people to kind of look at being a guest on a podcast and making that part of the marketing strategy. And I don't know if a lot of people, look to doing that. And, it gives you a great opportunity to really elevate your authority in your particular space to that larger audience. So for anybody listening out there, can you listen to Melissa investigate the podcast situation?
And it takes the work off. Like, I don't have to edit it. I don't have to create the graphics.
Yeah.
I don't have to do any of that. I just show up, bring some hope, we connect, and then I share it.
I love it. I love it. It's such an easy lift. And I love that. So, are there any of the social media platforms that are doing best for you than others?
I'm not going to shit on myself, but I need to get better at Pinterest, because that's where we go, right? Like, that's the Google of like, how do I not choke out my family for not making dinner today? Ooh,
Yes.
dinner.
Yes.
So that is on the list, but I use Instagram and a Facebook group. Like, I have a private group the most, because then we can share pictures and we can actually build those relationships. Those are the biggest two platforms that I use outside of Clubhouse.
I will tell you, you are spot on Pinterest, because you and what you do is the majority of the people on there are moms. They have very high income levels. They are super busy and working, and anything for the home, like food, clothing, design, weddings, restaurants, like you would be perfect on Pinterest. I think Pinterest is so underused. I really do. I think it's underused. I have to say, I just got on it. I feel like I'm on too many social media platforms right now but you can recycle the content, but I'm just kind of getting my feet wet with Pinterest. And I haven't, I'm trying to maneuver, how this is going to work. But if I can do it, okay, you're going and doing it.
I'm on it, and I'm dabbling.
Yeah, you've got tons of great content. I have seen your stuff out there. You do like amazing Instagram reels. I guess you can just recycle all that stuff over to Pinterest too and just tweak it based on kind of the branding of the platform. But yeah, you're doing really well with your reels too. I find you to be really real. There was no pun intended there. But you are really real and authentic on your reels. How do you get so comfortable with yourself? For people out there maybe who are doubting what they're doing and doubting their business, you seem very confident in it and its direction.
Oh. Well, thank you.
Did I throw you for a loop? You're like, really?
I think years ago, we all hit that bottom, right? That, okay, I'm not sure I want a human anymore. This hurts too much. It's just too hard. It's like effort, and people suck. And so all of that just raw, like years ago. I don't know. You read the books, you listen to the things, you drink the wine, and all the things. You do all these things, but one thing hit me so hard. And that's where I started rebuilding, was their opinion does not matter. And I'm like, oh, you don't like tattoos? That sounds like a you problem. Oh, you don't like chunky girls? Okay, we don't have to be friends.
Yeah.
And since then, it's just kind of like, okay. But I don't put it out there. Like, I don't, if you're toxic, bye. I'm not going to engage with ugly conversations or round conversations. If we are on this loop of nothing's going to change, I'm going to see myself right off of it.
Well, and you don't want ugly clients. That doesn't help your business. I always say, don't go after clients who can't appreciate what you do, don't like you for who you are, and you don't have a connection. Just keep moving on. But I think that's good. I think you do get to a point in your life where everybody has an opinion, which I think is amazing. And as entrepreneurs, isn't it funny? Everybody who's not an entrepreneur has an opinion.
Right.
I think,
cute.
what is that all about? You don't even know what this is all about and what this journey is and how hard it is. And you're going to like give us advice. I know.
I don't do that with people either. Like, just my everyday, I don't want to be an ugly kind of person on the outside from day to day. So I definitely don't want to put that in business.
Yeah. And you're not. That's the nice thing about it. So what would you say is different about about your business? You knew I was going to go down this road because I run enough clubhouse rooms and I put enough people on the spot. And for people right now who are listening to you about hopeful simplicity and how you can come in and create a less stressful life, how are you different than somebody else where they may be looking up information for somebody to help them? Tell people right now.
Tell people right now.
I've got to
I love it. No. So the biggest difference is, I don't think it's your job. And I don't think it's his job. And I don't think it's their job. When you're at home, it's our job. That's the biggest difference. I love organizing. I will come in with all the matching containers and all the labels and put your stuff away. But it is your job as a whole home team to manage that later. And I think that's the biggest difference. I love organizing things. I will play my YouTube playlist like it's my job 24/7 and just be like, oh, look at that pretty container. Oh, that's a nice label. Oh, that's pretty, all day long. But if I don't set you up to maintain, and I don't take the stress off of, you have to do this too. No, you all are doing this. Then I didn't do my job.
That's great. That's great. So tell me, if you were going to give somebody just one sentence of wisdom out there, whether they're a new entrepreneur or they've been in business for a couple years like yourself, like if you were sitting next to somebody in an airplane and they were doing this, what word of wisdom or what sentence of wisdom would you share with them?
Okay, my sentence when it comes to the organizing life concept is, you are not lazy, you are not messy, you just haven't found your style for success yet. Stay hopeful on your journey.
That's great. Stay hopeful on your journey. Okay, Melissa said it. I didn't say it. I didn't say it. That's your quote. I mean, that can be, the quote that you love. Have you done a reel on stay hopeful on your journey? There you go. Oh,
not yet.
Not yet.
Let me write that down on my planner right here.
And it can be whatever journey you're on, right?
I had to write it down.
So I know you have a lot of pastimes and hobbies and that sort of thing. So how, besides being super organized, do you kind of take a break and de-stress from owning your own business? What do you do to kind of soothe your soul?
All things nerdy.
It's okay. Like what?
I love reading. I do. I love reading. I have a half a sleeve of books for reading. But I also like gaming and hanging out with kids. Like, we just put a pool in, so we play cards while we floating. All just, like the nostalgic stuff that when I was a kid, no, I'm still a kid. Let's go walk in the rain. Oh, let me go to the bookstore and buy one book. One's like 20, let's be honest. So I do what fills me up, and a lot of that is nerdtastic.
Oh, there's another like super cool word. Okay, that's another reel. How to be nerdtastic. I'm creating your whole marketing strategy here for you. All right, all the ideas. I love it.
Hilarious. A lot of my reels are my nerd stuff. Like, show me something you spend too much money on. Oh, well, here's my Funko Pops that are just this one. Oh, here's my entire Harry Potter Lego castle. Yep. Those are my reels.
Love it. I love it. So it sounds like you're a mompreneur as well, which I love out there. I know you have one son. Do you have other children?
Nope.
One son is enough.
Yeah, it's funny because when my business started, there were 4 of us sharing a home together. So there were 2 boys and 2 adults. And then since then, life happens.
It sure
But
does.
regardless of who comes in, they know that it's like, all right, dinner's ready. Who's doing dishes? I ain't. No, nope, not it.
I love it. So I know that we talked about a special gift you have for our viewers, our listeners, where everybody's at right now. Can you share what special gift you have for people tonight?
Yes. I want to invite people to, we have an organizing style session coming up on August 6th. And so we're going to deep dive into the details of what is your actual style for success, because we all have different ones, right? It's just kind of like learning. We're all a little different. So organizing's, we're all going to be a little different on that too. So we're going to discover yours in that session on the 6th.
Okay, so it's August 6th. Is that a Saturday?
That is a Saturday. Yep.
Okay. And at what time again?
11 Eastern. Sorry, I had to convert it in my brain.
I know.
11
Eastern. Okay, so for everybody out there, how can they go ahead and sign up for this?
So it's on my website, hopefulsimplicity.com.
Perfect.
It is right there on the front page. And while you're there, we have complimentary pages and stuff like that. So you can just like click and get all the free tools while you're there.
Awesome. So everybody out there, go to hopefulsimplicity.com so you can sign up for this workshop. You can see all the great resources, and you can get in touch with Melissa so she can sit down and create a less stressful life. I think that's something all of us are. So if you're an entrepreneur and you need some help with what you're doing, Melissa could definitely be the person that you would want to get in touch with. So are you going to come back as your business evolves and let everybody know how like the next steps of entrepreneurship are going?
Absolutely. I would love to. I love talking with you.
That's great. And I have loved like learning more about you, because we just haven't had that chance. And this is, one of the great reasons I do this is not only to give other entrepreneurs, some help, some advice, but also to elevate you as an entrepreneur, because you're doing it and you're doing it well. And when people see that, it gives them hope that they can get through it too. So I appreciate you giving me the time to do this. And I think you're amazing at your job. And congratulations being a great entrepreneur too. So
thank you, Maureen. And
You're
thanks
welcome.
for inviting me. This was, anytime we can talk, I'm there, girl.
Oh, that's great. All right. For those of you out there, if you are an entrepreneur and you would like to have the opportunity to have a real, authentic conversation, nothing scripted here, please reach out to me. You can DM me both on my Facebook Messenger or my LinkedIn Messenger. Go ahead and tell me that you're interested, and I'll send you an application and see if it's a good fit. You can be in any industry, you can be at any stage. But if you have something to share to help other people and you want to elevate your business for other people out there, let's get together. I'm Maureen Edwards. I'm with 8 Simple Steps. If you need to have a conversation with me, you can reach me at 8simplesteps.net. Have a wonderful evening, everybody, and I will see you next week. And you know what I will be bringing? Another rock star entrepreneur. Thanks again, Melissa.
Thank you, Maureen.